He entered the league in 2019 as the 29th pick, a surprising slide for a player once projected as high as 7th. Teams hesitated, questioning his fit. He carried the tweener label, too small to guard bigs, too big to keep up with smaller guards. Despite the doubts, he rose steadily year after year, carving out a role built on energy, physicality, and timely scoring. That trajectory shifted in 2023 when the Spurs drafted Victor Wembanyama. With a generational talent arriving, he moved to a bench role, adjusting to a new reality. The conversation around him changed too. Trade rumors became common, fueled by critiques that he was a black hole on offense, limited on defense due to size, and unreliable from deep. Some fans and analysts were ready to move on. This is the perception, a player fading from relevance. But perceptions don't always match reality. To see the real story, we need to go to the numbers. Keldon Johnson's game begins with his body type, and that alone makes his career arc unusual. Among the top 100 players with the closest physical measurements to him, the majority slot naturally as small forwards, with a smaller share as shooting guards, small forward hybrids. Only 3% have been used primarily at power forward and none at center. That's why it stands out when the Spurs deploy him in front court heavy matchups or ask him to guard bigger bodies. Physically, his archetype isn't built for that role, yet he's been willing to step into it. In fact, compared to players with his physical profile, he's well above average in rebounding and maintains strong scoring numbers and overperformance in areas not typically expected for his size. The trade-off: defensive metrics remain a weaker point, feeding into the tweener narrative, productive and adaptable, but without a clearly defined defensive identity. Offensively, his scoring profile tells a story of dependence on system and teammates. A significant share of his points come from assisted looks, with much of his efficiency tied to catch and finish situations and shots created by others. He's capable of generating his own offense, but his production is at its most reliable when paired with consistent lineup combinations that understand his spots. That consistency has been elusive. The Spurs' 2024-25 rotation show him in a wide mix of lineup configurations, often with minimal minute overlap from game to game. The lineup scatterplot confirms the instability, large swings in who's on the floor with him, even when his role is otherwise stable. For a player whose efficiency thrives on rhythm and familiarity, this revolving door environment creates a challenge: the need to adapt nightly while maintaining output. We start by looking at his similarity within the team. The value of this view is twofold. First, it shows whether there's overlap in skill sets with other players, and second, it highlights how unique his role is. For the 2024-25, his closest within the team is Jeremy Sochan, a slashing forward with inconsistent shot from the distance. This will also gives us insight into contingency if Sochan is out, who can realistically carry his responsibilities, and if another player is absent, whether he can step into their load. Next, we move to his similarity within the league. This paints a different picture, identifying his closest statistical twin among active players. In this case, that's Harrison Barnes from the 2021-22 season. Given Barnes' age and career stage, it's fair to view Keldon as a likely successor for that archetype, a versatile forward who can fill a secondary scoring role while adapting to roster needs. Finally, we turn to the trend lines. The direction is promising in some respects. Even though his minutes are trending down, his points per game are going up. We've also seen earlier that his defensive attributes, was still below par for his position, are improving. The upward trend in blocks is a clear positive, even if steals remain a work in progress. Rebounding tells a different story, once a standout strength for his height. It's trending downward, but in this context, that's not necessarily a negative. With the Spurs adding multiple bigs, his role is shifting. allowing teammates to shoulder more of the rebounding load and reducing overlap. The data paints a clear picture of how Keldon Johnson's playing time correlates with Spurs wins. From the binned win rate view, we see a steady climb as his minutes increase, peaking in the 25 to 29 minute range. This zone delivers the highest win probability without dipping into the volatility seen at very low or very high minutes, where sample sizes are smaller and performance is less predictable. The level 2 spline model smooths out those bins and confirms the trend. Win probability rises with his minutes and levels off toward the high 20s. The credible peak here is not an accident. It's the same range where his impact, shot rhythm, and lineup fit come together. Even after adjusting for opponent quality and home-away context in level 3, the optimal window remains essentially unchanged. That's important. It means this isn't just schedule luck or a small sample quirk. From a strategic standpoint, the 26 to 30 minute range emerges as the sweet spot. Within this window, Keldon's role as a secondary scorer and floor spacer works best when paired with consistent playmakers who can feed his assisted heavy shot profile. Dropping below 25 minutes risks losing that rhythm, while pushing well beyond 30 minutes hasn't historically moved the win needle further. Ultimately, these visuals tell a simple story. Keep Keldon in that high 20s range with the right creators alongside him, and you're maximizing his win equity. Keldon Johnson's value in the Spurs system is rooted in sacrifice, something not easily captured in a box score. The data shows he's been injected into nearly every lineup configuration, a sign of his willingness to adopt a whatever-it-takes mindset, even if that means learning and adapting on the fly. This season, he's taken a step back in minutes, yet still delivered high-energy, efficient stretches. Physically, he remains ahead of most peers in his profile group. Strategically, his trends suggest a conscious shift, moving away from his strongest historical trait, rebounding, to focus more on the perimeter, positioning himself to maximize team impact. Still, the path forward won't be simple. With Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant entering the rotation, his minutes could shrink further. The challenge for Keldon will be maintaining that same efficiency and adaptability while navigating a tighter role in a deeper roster. But what do you think? Do you think it's the best for the Spurs to trade him for a better fit, which eventually free up some minutes for DH and CB, or to keep him as he embodied the organization's DNA? Let me know in the comments section, and until then, keep nerding out.